it's Kelly here with She Learns Video, and today we are going to be talking all about how you can get started with batching your Instagram Reels or any short form video that you might be creating. So if you have ever had the time to make some Reels, but then you sat down to do it and had trouble coming up with ideas, or you weren't quite feeling camera ready, then this video is for you. After watching this video, you will be ready to batch your content, and then that way you can post a Reel anytime the moment strikes you. All right, so batching Reels is somewhat new to me, but the system that I have going right now has been super helpful. I want to share it with you, and then that way you can create consistent content and be posting new Reels on a regular basis. Okay, so tip number one is whenever you are on Instagram, say you're sitting on the couch in the evening scrolling through, save the audio that you can relate to or that you feel like would be easy for you to transfer into something you can share with your own audience. So let's say maybe you see a Reel that a real estate agent has done and you think, oh, I'm a photographer and I could transfer that into tips for photographers or tips for my clients. That is audio that you might want to save, and then when you get ready to batch your Reels, you will have all that saved audio ready to go. The next tip is kind of the key and one that my social media manager has helped me with, but that is keeping a spreadsheet with all of my ideas and the different audio files that I've been saving or any trending audio that we're seeing pop up. I organize this spreadsheet by the audio that I want to use, and then I pop in ideas for what might relate to my audience or the type of content that I plan to put with that audio when I create the Reel. As I said, I do have a social media manager who's been helping me out, so I don't want to discredit the fact that doing this on your own can be a little bit overwhelming, but I promise if you use the same system, you will be able to do it on your own and be able to see success. Okay, the next tip is to block off some time on your schedule. And as a busy mom and photographer, videographer myself, I know how challenging this can be. But find a day on the calendar when you know you're gonna have some free time, you know the house will be quiet, block that time off, and this is gonna be your dedicated time to create those Reels that you have been saving audio for and creating ideas for in your spreadsheet. Once you know the time is blocked off, then you wanna make sure you have all your gear ready to go. So I actually have another video where I talk about the gear I use for creating my Reels, but you wanna make sure you have things like a light if you're utilizing any type of light stands, a tripod or a stand for your phone, and then any little like phone mount that might help you to hold your phone. You can think about things like what your backdrop is going to be and if you're gonna have any outfit changes, and that way you have all of this ready to go and you'll be prepared when you have the time set aside to batch your Reels. Also, any props you might need. So sometimes with the Reels, you'll have a variety of different props. Maybe you're showing off different camera gear or showing off albums. If you're a photographer, make sure you have these ready to go, packed up, and then everything's in one spot, and you can get started batching when you have this time carved out and set aside. All right, my next tip is to start small. So maybe start with 3 to 4 Reels that you feel like you know you can do, you know they'll be successful, you aren't too intimidated by the audio that you maybe have to lip sync or what you have to show on camera, and just start with those. I think starting small is a great way to go because once you get a couple under your belt, you really find the energy and the fun behind them, and you can be a little more playful, and it snowballs from there to where it's not just a chore you have to do making these Reels, but it's something that's actually fun and enjoyable and a part of your business you love to do. Okay, another tip and a super important tip that I have actually learned the hard way is when you are creating these Reels in Instagram, you need to make sure you're saving the video file to your phone. So don't just save the draft in Instagram because sometimes they just randomly get deleted. I have the Instagram app downloaded, I did not delete the app, and for some reason, a bunch of my Reels just malfunctioned or were gone from the file labeled drafts, so they were no longer there. So I don't want that to happen to you. I encourage you to hit the little down arrow when you have the video completed, and that will download it to your camera roll. And that way, if you need to go back into your camera roll and pull the video file out, you can do that and match it up with the audio later on when you're actually ready to publish. The next step is when you have the time, sit down and edit a Reel. So you're gonna sit down, you're gonna pull out the video file that you want to create, and you're gonna sync it up with the audio and then add in any captions that you have, or if there's any fun little graphics you want to include, you can do that at that time, and you can sync it up with maybe if you have any photos you want to implement as well, or different video clips, you can edit the reel together. So I don't think you need to do that on your batch day. You don't necessarily need to get them finalized, but just batching the video part where you're on screen or you're utilizing your props and having all of those video files ready to go. And then when you have time to post a reel, maybe when your kids go off to school or it's actually your work time, you can sit down, create that reel, add in the captions, and hit publish. So if you're just starting out, I encourage you to publish one reel a week. I think that that's a great starting point. I know there are lots of creators who are maybe publishing multiple times a day, but if you overwhelm yourself in the beginning, you're just not gonna do it. So start out with one per week, see how it goes. If you want to increase and you feel like you're batching more and more, then you can do that at that time. The other thing to keep in mind is the audio trends on these reels, or if you're on TikTok, they tend to kind of ebb and flow, and a lot of times they fade away. So if you are batching a bunch of reels at one time, you may want to post more than one per week, because there's a chance that by the time you get around to posting it, the audio's kind of falling off and you may not see the traction that you initially envisioned. Just something to keep in mind. Again, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just get these done, have fun with it, be playful, and I promise you'll start to see traction. I have loved creating these reels. Also, if for some reason you aren't feeling camera ready and you still wanna make some reels, I do have some tutorials on reels you can make without showing your face and how to add still images to your reels. So definitely go check those out. Thanks so much for watching, and go over to shelearnsvideo.com to learn more.